So this week, Taurus, from Le Vampire, you pulled free will, sovereignty, independence, and free spirit. And from Chakra Wisdom, you pulled growth. Now, both of these cards I absolutely love, and I love that you guys are pulling this week. So, free will from Le Vampire, this card is very much about reminding yourself of your own dreams and desires, but it's also about activating your ability to say yes and no without guilt and without fear. And this card is also saying that it is safe and easy for you now to express and act upon your free will. And when you look at that with growth, I think a lot of you are standing up for yourselves. Growth is a beautiful card. The very first quote for this is, your message is best expressed when you are uniquely you. The inspiration says that this card says to break away and maybe time for a change of scenery. Visit a foreign country, embark on a new enterprise, or learn a skill. Most importantly, grow. And then the personal question is, what have I outgrown? Am I willing to become independent? The key ideas are taking a stand, living your truth, lack of safety, clashing values, and teaching by example. And I think for a lot of you right now, you're taking a stand for yourself. You're acting on your free will. You're looking at what you have outgrown. And you are living your truth right now. All right, Taurus. Here is the energy coming through. The Eight of Swords, fear. It's good to see free will and growth showing up. And I think for some of you, those are going to be positive reminders that you don't need to stay trapped in any situation that is no good for you. I really think that the Eight of Swords is, trapping yourself in things that, are painful, that aren't bringing you happiness. A lot of times we do this because we're afraid to move forward because of fear of the unknown. But, the big thing for me with this card, every time I see it, I would rather be dealing with new pain than the same shit over and over again, right? You're not really bound to anything. You are keeping yourself in a situation, and it is creating fear for you. And in the past, the Three of Pentacles. So for some of you, it may have to do with, feeling like you're trapped at a job that you hate, which I can definitely understand. The Three of Pentacles, that and the Eight of Pentacles, those two very much remind me of work. And for some of you, there's a question here of what is it that you're putting your effort into? Because the Three of Pentacles, you have the part of it where you're working well with others toward a common goal, right? You're showing off your talents. You're being recognized for it. It's the beginning of something new with the potential for great financial gain. But, I think for some of you, just looking at the two cards, it's like, oh man, I hate my job. And in the present, the Six of Swords, yeah. So for some of you, you're wanting to move away from what isn't working for you, right? I think in the past with the Three of Pentacles, you thought you were doing the right thing. But I think that looking at the swords, I don't think that it's something that you're happy with. And then seeing the Six of Swords as present conditions is saying, I'm out. But I feel like, I kind of get the feeling here that you're like wanting to, but not really doing it. It's almost like, it's something that you're thinking about right now in the present moment, but are you actually doing it though is the question with the Eight of Swords. Future conditions, the Seven of Wands. And, that's good to see. And I'm hoping that, you guys are getting yourselves unstuck with that Eight of Swords, looking at the Seven of Wands. So the Seven of Wands is future conditions. This is very much that I'm not taking any more shit card. That's my immediate feeling when I see this card. When I first started learning the deck, I'm like, oh yeah, I know what that feels like. Having to stand up for myself. And again, growth, right? Standing up for yourself, letting people know exactly how you feel and what you think. Traditionally, this is the person who's beating off the other wands, but it's suggesting that you have the higher ground. And basically, it's just saying that I think where you're thinking about moving away from a situation that you feel trapped in, I think when you get to the Seven of Wands, you're moving away, but then you're also like, you know what, I'm going to give it to you, right? Like, I'm not holding back anymore. This is what I think of this bullshit. you know. Oh, your best, I'm telling you, I kind of had a feeling, you know, looking at that Eight of Swords, the devil is your best path to follow. When you see this in this position, immediately it's saying that you don't need to be bound by nothing. You can release yourself from this crap. The devil strips us of hope. And I do think that a lot of you are choosing to stay stuck with a situation that you've put too much time and effort into. You're thinking about wanting to move away, but I think you do get there, but you have to completely release yourself from this. If you're feeling stuck in a situation that is no longer working for you, you have to remember that, you know, you don't have to stay with anything that is going to make you feel like shit, because the two of them, ugh. And I do think that for some of you, just looking at it, it definitely could have to do with a job. But, you know, whatever is going on with you mentally right now, I really think that you get to the point where you've had enough. I just think that, you know, in the present moment, you know, here where the focus is to that, you know, Spirit is trying to remind you here that you don't have to stay stuck, right? I mean, stuck. That's immediately what comes to me looking at this card. And stuck again, right? In your environment, the Four of Cups, whatever it is that's going on here with this Three of Pentacles and what you're putting your time and effort into, you're bored with it. And emotionally, you're just like blah, right? The Four of Cups, it's not really depression for me. It's more of the card where you're just feeling like lethargic, I think is the best way to put it. You know, where you have your focus on what's in front of you. You may not be seeing new offers coming through. You may be rejecting offers, but there is an overall feeling with this card of being bored and unsatisfied with what is in front of you. And I do think that you're done with it. Yeah, your hopes and your fears. I think for a lot of you, whatever the situation is here, you're hoping for, you know, an ending of pain looking at the Ten of Swords. And I do think that you're going to hit the end of this situation here where you're not dealing with this kind of crap anymore. It's just that, you know, you have to remember too with the Ten of Swords that this isn't something that you want to hang on to. That for me is like the biggest thing when I see this card. It's one of the things that I immediately attach to because I understand it. When you're looking at the Ten of Swords, first of all, it's a painful ending. Whether it's, you know, people who have caused you a lot of pain, who have betrayed you, whatever the situation is with the Ten of Swords, it is a painful ending, but it is also the ending of pain. But the problem is that a lot of times when we go through situations like that, we have a tendency to hang on to it. And you don't want to do that to yourself. And I think you get to the point where you're like, I've had enough of this shit. I'm done with this. Oh, yeah. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Perfect. Perfect outcome, Taurus. I'm telling you, that's perfect. You're going to get to a point here where, again, you start acting on your free will. And you're not going to feel guilty anymore about saying no. I'm done with this shit. I'm done with being stuck in situations that are no longer fulfilling me. I'll deal with the ending and deal with the pain. But what you're looking at when you start standing up for yourself is happiness. Happiness. It's beautiful, Taurus. And that's good to see. It's just that I think your focus right now is you're thinking about moving away, but are you actually doing it? And what is it that you need to do to get yourself out of these situations that are just leaving you feeling like blah, just blah, yuck, 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 right? And I think some of you may be fearing having to deal with that painful ending. But once you get past that, again, the ending of pain, right? And coming into the Ten of Cups, absolute happiness and emotional fulfillment. But I do think that a lot of you put way too much time and way too much effort into something that just has left you feeling, you know, stuck and bored and just like bleh. And I don't blame you if you go off with the Seven of Wands, because I'd be like, I'm done with this shit. I'm out, right? All right, Taurus, we're going to take a look at the soul trees to see what other messages there are for you guys. You and Gemini are looking at some situations that are going to be difficult to deal with, that, you know, are going to have like a really unpleasant kind of finale, I guess is the best way to put it. But what you're looking at in the long run is going to be much better than what you're dealing with now. Okay. The last time that this showed up was with Gemini's reading. Seeing the crown chakra. This is spirit directly connecting with you. You have to be careful here about too much attachment to ego, but I don't think that that's an issue with Taurus. But I think that you are getting divine guidance, and you are going to find out what your purpose is. You know, the beginning of this new cycle that's happening where you're finding your purpose, and the source, the light, God, whatever it is that you want to call it, is directly going to be communicating with you about what your divine purpose is. Oh, shit. All right, I got to take a drink. This is one of those cards that rarely shows up. If it does show up in a reading, it has extreme importance. What is happening to you right now is going to be significant. What you're going to be dealing with this week is going to have a big purpose in your life. And I think a lot of you are looking at a new beginning here where there is a major connection with the source. Don't let your ego get in the way of that. Oh, you got 2. Look into your inner strength. You are stronger than you realize. Absolutely. Especially if some of you feel like you're trapped in a relationship that is not making you happy. You know, for some of you, yeah, you could be dealing with breakups, but for those of you who are happy in a relationship, I think that once you start tapping into your strength when it comes to moving away from the things that are stripping you of that hope, things are going to be a little bit easier for you. And I think, you know, you're looking at some really beautiful happiness. It's just that, you know, you really need to tap into some strength right now. For sure. All right, and then the second one, practice compassion. See things from a different perspective. Now, for those of you who are facing difficulties in a relationship, when it comes to the way that you're thinking about the relationship, just looking at this in context of love, I think for a lot of you, you're going to be changing the way that you're thinking. You're going to be making some big changes when it comes to the way that you're feeling emotionally, and you're going to start speaking up about it and living your truth and speaking your truth. And ultimately, it's going to lead to happiness. But I'm telling you, the spiritual connection for Taurus this week, just like with Gemini, is going to be so important. So important. The reading is a little bit difficult, but Taurus, seeing the 10 of Cups, I'm telling you, the divine has stepped in for a lot of you. And I think a lot of you are going to get an amazing connection. You're going to find out what your true purpose is. And you're going to see the beginning of a new cycle happening in your life where you will be happy. All right, Taurus. You and Gemini, it blows me away. And just so you guys know, before I start these readings, I do what I need to connect with my decks, clear them out, and I shuffle them and shuffle them and shuffle them. And that is to make sure that, you know, the energy is cleared out before I start a new sign. But you and Gemini, for some reason, the divine is playing a big part in your life this week. And I think it's because you're going through some difficulties. But I do think that what you're pulling here is amazing. It is amazing. God, the light, the source, whatever it is that you want to call it, is going to be directly communicating with you. There is going to be a new beginning happening in your life where you understand what your soul's purpose is. Blows me away. It blows me away. But as of right now, I think that Taurus is having some difficulties. When you look at the 8 of Swords and you're looking at the Devil connected with that, and then you look at the 4 of Cups, yeah, I think a lot of you have put too much time and too much effort into things that are not serving your purpose. And now it's time for you to stop thinking about moving away from these things and start doing what you need to for yourself. Because I really do think that with the 6 of Swords, it's like you're not really doing it. I think you're thinking about it, but you're not really doing it. But you do get to a point where you're like, I've had enough of this shit. And you make sure that everyone around you knows that you're done with this. You're looking to much, much better things than what you have felt trapped in. Now, as far as the Ten of Swords, I do think that for some of you, you're fearing having to deal with this ending, because I think you already know it's going to be a painful situation for some of you. But where you come out at, it's not going to matter. Because again, the divine is playing a big part in what is happening to you this week. And it's amazing. It's amazing. Now, as far as free will and growth, I think that, you know, these, again, are messages to you from the divine, letting you know that, you know, you have the right to act on your free will. But it is important to ask yourself, what are the things that you have outgrown? And again, stand up for yourself and speak your truth and live your truth. And I think you guys do. And ultimately, you're looking at happiness, absolute happiness, which I think with the divine stepping in here, you absolutely deserve. Now, when it comes to love, spiritual connection, for those of you who are single, you know, again, it's like everything is going to open up for you in a way that's, you know, going to create beautiful new beginnings, not just with, you know, your purpose in life, but possibly with a partner as well. But I'm telling you. Now, practice compassion in your inner strength. You know, I'm glad that this showed up. I would have liked to have seen strength, but I do think that, you know, these two together very much are talking about strength, right? You having the strength to say, damn it, I'm done, right? But having compassion as well. But I think it's also important for you to have compassion for yourself. Now, if you're in a relationship and you are happy, you know, for some of you, it could be just simply leaving a job, right, that you hate, which is understandable. And here, you know, you're asking that higher vibrational question. And the divine is responding, you know, what is my purpose? And boom, you get the answer and you lead off into happiness. It's beautiful. I just think that when it comes to the things that you're dealing with, if you're happy in a relationship, it's important to have compassion for your partner, but it's also important for you to be strong through what you're dealing with. And I also think that for those of you who are happy in a relationship, that it's not just going to be, you know, you having compassion for them. I think that they're going to have compassion for you as well. Now, for those of you who are dealing with difficulties in a relationship, and this is what you've put too much time and effort into, I do think that you realize that there needs to be a change for your own happiness. And that's where compassion and strength is coming in. But Taurus, I'm telling you, whatever difficulties you're facing, the divine is going to respond. And I think you're going to get some major help here. Just be open to the information that is coming into you from source.